Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Outside View Live. We are building up to the first ball of the first T20I between England and India. The test matches are done, the ODIs are done, and now at this point, the series stands 6-4 in England's favor. Remember, it's a multi-format series, so all to play for in these three T20Is, 2 points each game has. So, as they say, the winner takes it all. So, let's build up to that ball number one. And I have with me Vanitha and Ananya Upendran. The first news, of course, is a good one that India have won the toss. They're going to bowl first. Small starts, good starts. Vanitha, let's start with you. We saw that toss win, match win effect in that third ODI. It's a good continuity to have in this first T20I, isn't it?
Definitely, I think the momentum is set right from the toss now. So we started winning from the toss. Hopefully, we'll go on to win the match. And look, India is doing the right thing. Actually, they're following what their strength is. They're sticking to it, and chasing has always been a strength. So any day they would take it. And in a format like this, you just don't know how much to set a target. It's any day better to chase rather than put yourself in that in that fray, and then thinking that how much is enough on a strong, against a stronger side like England.
Ananya, India are doing what they are comfortable with, chasing rather than setting targets, aren't they? It's a good start, especially the first match of a series.
Definitely. I mean, you always want to have the opportunity to do what you're comfortable doing, especially in T20 cricket. I think Harmanpreet Kaur has said it a lot of times that in T20 games, it's always good to know what you're chasing to understand what rate you have to go at. India have never been comfortable, setting targets in recent times. So they'll definitely be happy, and, hopefully that momentum from the third ODI continues into this game as well.
Yeah, in the lead up to this game, which is being played at the county ground in Northampton, we thought that the track was going to be flat one, and which in a way kind of leads us to believe that there'll be seamers having a greater purchase. But Ananya, looking at that England 11 first up, 3 changes, and there are 3 spinners in that 11. Did you kind of think that would happen, and your thoughts on that English 11?
Surprised. I was, honestly very surprised that Maddie Villiers has made it. But look, she has been in good form through that, through the RHF, through the Charlotte Edwards Cup as well. That she's bowled quite well for the Sunrisers and been in good form. So, and India have a couple of left-handers. So, it probably takes a lot of pressure off someone like Heather Knight, who was having to bowl her off spin to them. And Maddie Villiers is a very dynamic cricketer. She bats very well as well, is quite power packed and an excellent fielder. So a good all-round package to have in T20 cricket. And England are obviously backing that batting group to go out there and score a bulk of the runs. But their bowlers also come in with a lot of power, whether it's Glenn, Eccleston, Brunt, and even Villiers herself. They can all bat, they can all hit the big ones. So, they're clearly backing the batting group to do a bulk of the scoring and putting the onus on the pure bowlers or on the bowling group to get those wickets. So good on them. I'm surprised, but again, I think Villiers is a wonderful addition to that side. So it's great to see her and Freya Davies in the mix.
Yeah, we are sitting miles away from Northampton, Vanitha. But do you think that 3 spinners is an indication of how the track possibly might be? I don't know. I mean, it's all kind of speculation at this point from where we are. But I think that 3 spinners, which means that India's spinners could also play a huge part.
It looks like the combination that they've gone doesn't assist much for pacer, and clearly a clear flat track. So based on that, and also what surprises me the most is that we Indians are pretty good with Paul coming in and spinners, and quite surprised to see the selection made by England team. Maybe that's a strategy against our batter. We'll have to wait and see. But clearly, yes, I think there is scope for spin bowling today.
Yeah, England have, of course, made 3 changes from the side that played the last ODI. Daniel White, of course, comes back into the squad and into the 11. So she'll be slotting up there with Tammy Beaumont to open the innings. And if you go down the order, there's no Anya Shrubsole. There's no Kate Cross, India's tormentor in that ODI series. Maddie Villiers has been pushed in, and so has Freya Davies. Ananya, does Shrubsole's omission surprise you more than anything else? Because even if Maddie Villiers ought to come in, probably Kate Cross's position might have been the case, but no Shrubsole in and no Farrant as well. So what could be the possible thought process behind that?
Well, we did see in that New Zealand tour that Freya Davies bowled exceptionally well. I mean, she got a 4 for against New Zealand, and she really stood up in the absence of Anya Shrubsole and took that place and claimed it as her own. And Anya Shrubsole said this as well in her press conference, that she thinks someone like Freya Davies could lead the England attack for a long time in the years to come. So clearly, England just want to give her a go in this format. She's earned her spot. She's been bowling very well as well. And while Shrubsole's omission does surprise me, I think again it's a reflection probably of the track, of the fact that they want to keep pace off the ball against India, which is surprising. But it's also probably workload management. Anya Shrubsole is coming back from an injury. She had surgery, I think, before the West Indies series. And then, she missed out the New Zealand series with a foot injury. So there is a lot of workload management there. She bowled quite a bit through the test matches. She bowled through the ODIs as well. So they probably want to give her a bit of a rest and make sure that she's good to go in what's going to be a very, very busy year ahead for England.
Yeah, India have won the toss and have opted to bowl first, which means we'll see England out to bat in a bit. And then let's look at that top four for England. Very formidable with Wyatt, Beaumont, that Natalie Siver, Heather Knight. It just probably Daniel Wyatt's form might be a concern looking at purely at past international record, but that's a very formidable top four. And if you kind of put Amy Jones in the mix, so you ought to see a lot of runs there at the start.
Oh, hopefully. I mean, I saw a stat yesterday that said Dani Wyatt almost averages double against India as compared to her career average. So she likes batting against the Indians. She's scored a lot of runs against them. So she'll be, champing her teeth, waiting to go out there and get bat to ball. She hasn't had a great time in international cricket, but again, she's coming off a fair few runs in the domestic competition. So there is confidence there, and she lost her place in that ODI team, so there's a lot to prove for her. I'm sure she'll be very, very keen to get out there. So an opposition she likes playing against, so that will give her a lot of confidence.
Indeed, and Wyatt has her only T20I century also against India in a run chase, so that is also something that she'll be happy about. Let's look at the Indian side for now, and you see there are 7 bowling options for Harmanpreet Kaur, including herself. There is Poonam Yadav, Radha Yadav, as well as Shikha Pandey and Arundhati Reddy. Vanitha, your thoughts on this Indian level? 2 seamers and plenty of spin options. So you expected Shikha Pandey and Arundhati Reddy to be in that 11?
Honestly, I didn't expect Shikha. I mean, nothing. I mean, simply because of the way how Simran bowled the last series, she was very impressive, and I thought probably they would continue with that. But yeah, they've fallen back on experience. It's actually a nice thing to have an experienced player bowling for you up front. And look, we have plenty of bowling options. This also will give Indians to try out their combination for 11. Right now, it looks like quite unsettled 11 as of now, because they're not sure about what the combination is. See, if Harleen can actually bowl you those 2-3 overs, you're looking at another leg spin and away going bowler option. So that also you can sort of add up to another batter in the lineup. So we saw that yesterday when Harmanpreet was talking in the press conference that we're just trying to try out some combination of whatever, like best, try to fill in the best 11 also. But I think probably yes, I expected Jemimah to play in this format. To be honest, I thought she'd be put down to bat a little bit. But I don't know what the team management is expecting out of this. But definitely 2 away going bowler I'm seeing for the first time playing. After a long time, we're seeing 2 away going bowlers playing at the same in the same 11. So yeah, let's hope that today they come out and do well for us.
Yeah, in fact, Harleen Deol, you mentioned that, so that makes 8 options.
Actually, three away going bowlers
indeed.
now.
Yeah, but that also gives 8 options for Harmanpreet Kaur. Ananya, she's in a territory that probably she hasn't seen in recent times. You look at that 11, there's depth in batting, but there's also options in bowling. Very good lineup, you think, or do you differ in any way?
No, I'm very, very thrilled to see this lineup. Little, unfortunate that Jemimah's missed out, but again, based on form, it's probably better that she just spends a bit of time on the bench and hitting the ball in the net. So I'm very, very pleased with this lineup. It's kind of like India going down that Australia route where they have lots of bowling options to make sure that if one doesn't click on the day, that you have a fifth, the sixth, the seventh option that you can throw the ball to just to get those overs out of the way. So that's great. I mean, I think it's wonderful to see, just I think the flexibility that this kind of lineup gives you is amazing, whether it's, with the bat or with the ball. So, I'm slightly, only two pace bowling options. I'm not surprised again, but it's just this kind of over reliance on spin is something India will have to get over, over the course of the next year or so. And Simran, if and when she gets an opportunity, will also, bring in that flexibility. But you can just see with the success of someone like Sneha Rana, how much that has added to this lineup. The fact that you can slot in a good batter and a very, very good off spinner at that number 7 position. It's just given them so much to work with, and it's great to see India kind of backing those all-round options.
Yeah, but we talked about this in the preview yesterday, Ananya, that if India are comfortable with what their batters provide, they probably might go with Arundhati Reddy. That's what we are seeing, aren't we? Because there's Reddy over Pooja Vastrakar, who began surprisingly in the test match. So that also tells a bit about how comfortable India are with their batting.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a good point, that they clearly see the need to kind of plug their bowling a little bit, and which is why Arundhati has gotten the nod over her. But I also think Arundhati is a better fielder or a safer fielder than Pooja. Pooja is much quicker across the ground, yes, but she's always one of those, you're not sure whether she's going to take the catch, stop the ball, or injure herself. So it's probably, you'd probably want the safer option in Arundhati in this case. And yeah, they clearly want to plug that bowling hole. She also did bowl well against South Africa, against some really attacking batters in very, very good batting conditions. So that's probably worked in her favor. And like Vanitha has said several times, she can also, score quickly. She's not as powerful as Pooja, but she has boundary shots. So she's someone, I think Ramesh Pawar said this back in 2018, that she's someone that they can groom to kind of fill that fast bowling hole that India have been looking for a long time. So maybe he's kind of hoping that she goes down that path.
Indeed. And we talk about Richa Ghosh. She's going to don the gloves. Vanitha, we talked about this briefly yesterday, whether Richa, Tanya or Indrani Roy might get a go in. But Richa Ghosh, I think the team backs her to be the number 1 wicketkeeper, at least in this T20 format. Your thoughts on that? Because it's the first T20I, it's a fresh series. You've seen Tanya Bhatia succeed in the ODIs as well as the Test. Your thoughts on Richa Ghosh, the wicketkeeper batter?
Definitely, I would take it any day because she's an impact player. I would love to have her in the 11, and if she donning the gloves will accommodate another all-rounder, and that's exactly what has happened. I feel Radha Yadav has walked in that place, because looking at the setup, you have another extra away going bowler. So this is what it is. This is what gives India options to actually play out a lot of combination. Like, you can have varieties in the team, and Richa Ghosh has opened up that option widely for Indian team. And I hope that she does really well, because in front of the wicket, for me, she looks very impactful player, and busy at the crease, always looking to score runs. She's young. Not as excellent as Tanya behind the stumps, but I think with time and exposure, and with a lot of practice sessions going on behind, because I see her every session posting with the, keeping, I'm sure she's become as passionate as, it is with her batting. Just hoping that, as she gets better and better every day, game by game, I think she'll pick it up, because she's very young. So, when you're young, it's easy to learn skill.
Yeah, India are bowling first, Ananya, and one of the Indian bowlers who does not just have an arm but has a golden arm is Radha Yadav, who has that lovely streak of 28 T20Is going on now, where she's picked at least 1 wicket, high on confidence, and we saw that in the fielding stints that she had in the ODIs. But there she is. Your thoughts on Radha Yadav, the golden arm girl with the ball?
Well, I mean, Radha, you get the sense that she's someone who always wants to be in the thick of the action, whether it's in the field with the ball or with the bat. She always wants to be out there in those big moments. She's someone who holds her nerve under pressure. I think that's been one of the things that's allowed her to transition into international cricket a lot easier than the rest of her batch have. Look at Pooja Vastrakar, Jemimah Rodriguez, yes, started off well, but she's facing a lull, whether it's Arundhati Reddy. the transition for Radha was slightly easier, or it appeared slightly easier, because she's just so confident in her skills. She wants to be in the thick of the action, and she likes, being put under pressure. So that's one of the things that really stands out. And she's a very smart bowler. I think, after Anuja Patil, I think was very, very street smart bowler. I think Radha Yadav's very close to her. She's someone who can outthink you, probably not as skilled as many of the other bowlers, but she's such a good thinker. She can think on her feet and outwit you in ways that you wouldn't expect. So I think that's really held her in good stead at this level.
Yeah, I remember Snehal Pradhan writing for us in the T20 World Cup last year, where Radha was more of a supporting role. She essayed more of that role, and now she's someone who probably teams might prepare first against her because of her excellent run of form. Of course, India are bowling first, but for this Indian T20 side to reveal their engine room has always had to do well, which is Smriti Mandhana, Harmanpreet Kaur, as well as Shikha Pandey to a great extent. How much pressure, Vanitha, you think will be on Harman as well as Smriti in this contest?
See, look, Harman is literally trying to find a form in this series, and you can clearly see that how hard she's trying. But she's always been a match winner for her. Any day if she gets going, there's no stopping Harman. And we've also seen Smriti how good she is, and it's important for these guys now to take up the senior leading role, like what exactly Mithali did in one days. I would want to see one of these guys taking up the role and playing a long way, because this team is very young. And not in terms of the number of games that they played, the number of games I think most of them have around minimum 30 games behind the back, but it's the exposure that they've been exposed to. All this while someone or the other was doing it for them. But I feel this is a series where, a lot of character should be shown, by the players in terms of how they need to step up and take up the responsibilities of actually going out there and performing, and not depend on those big guns. And that's exactly what I would want to see. And not that I don't want these guys to score runs, but yes, I would want one of these guys to, at least stay till 18th over and just make sure, they build this team forward, because this is how you need to build the team. And this is what Mithali was doing all these years for us. And that's how we saw a Smriti and a Harman being developed over the years. And I would like to exactly see somebody doing this role today for us. And, that's when we'll see some characters coming out. That's when we'll see somebody going out there and playing their natural game. And that's what we want to see today.
Yeah, Harmanpreet Kaur is returning to the T20I unit as well. She missed the South Africa series because of injury. Ananya, we talked at the end of the T20 World Cup about how it seemed at that point that the captaincy was probably adversely affecting her form. So how vital will this series be in that sense for Harmanpreet Kaur?
Oh, well, I mean, if you look at the numbers themselves, you'd say that the captaincy is kind of adversely affecting her. But she is, I mean, we saw that in the second ODI as well, that she kind of somehow, this new energy comes into her when she's leading, especially on the field. I think she's kind of, really lifted herself as an on-field captain. You used to see a bit of a temper before in her early years, but now she's really calmed down. I think she's becoming a bit of a bowler's captain, understanding that side of the game as well, understanding how to be a bit more patient with her teammates, which is great. And I'm sure she'll be thinking about it. I mean, lots of people asked her in the press conference about her form, about what she's doing, where she's going to find the runs, and certainly going to be playing on her mind. But she's always this kind of batter. You look at her record, every time she's pushed to the wall, she finds a special innings. And, India will be hoping that it's around the corner. It's been a while, but she was batting beautifully against South Africa. I remember that. I mean, I think she looked the best batter in that series. So that form is there. It's just, sometimes when you try too hard, the runs never come. So India will be hoping that she finds that form now. We saw a clip of her doing some range hitting. That ball seemed to hit the middle of the bat. So hopefully that's, a sign of things to come.
Yeah, indeed. She also promised in that pre-series conference that there'll be a new approach to her batting and the way she plays. So let's wait and watch. But also as Indians, we always love to see what the vice captain does when in the absence of the regular captain, and we want a change immediately in that sense as well. So that's also a point. But before we kind of move on, let's kind of talk a bit more about England. Ananya, Tammy Beaumont, she kind of was in a good form against New Zealand and even started off well in that test as well as the first ODI. Is that a minor blip for her, or is it something of a concern for England, or it's just one of those days for India? One of those days that it didn't click for her.
I think it's one of those days that didn't click. I mean, you heard her after that first ODI where she said, "I stopped believing in form. It's just about the mindset on the day." So I'm sure she's looking at it like that it's just a minor blip. It is a new innings at the end of the day. You start from zero. So yeah, she is definitely going to come out all guns blazing. She's back with Danny Wyatt at the top of the order, which means she can take a bit of time to settle in. So yeah, again, I'm sure she'll be relishing this challenge. And again, she's moved up back to the top of the order in the T20s. So something she will want to cement her place there.
Right, there you go. India are bowling first, which means we'll see the likes of Shikha Pandey, Radha Yadav, Poonam Yadav in action, and of course, Tammy Beaumont, Daniel White, Natalie Siver as well, which means it's time for Vanitha and Ananya to be put in a spot. Vanitha, your thoughts about the first innings and the matches that you are keenly looking forward to, and who will come up triumph in that matchup?
Well, let me go to the bowling card today. I'm looking forward for Radha Yadav today because she hasn't got a single game in this series. So I'm sure, knowing her mindset, I'm gonna pick Radha Yadav today.
Radha Yadav versus?
And Radha Yadav versus Siva. I'm gonna go with that. I'm looking forward for that, competition today. It'll be fun.
Ananya, what about you?
Just because she got her out in the ODIs, I'm going to say Poonam Yadav versus Heather Knight is something I'm keen on seeing how she approaches her. And I'm also keen on seeing how Arundhati Reddy bowls to those England openers. It's going to be a big test, probably one of her biggest in her career so far. So yeah, going to keep an eye on that.
Just purely going by how the predictions worked in ODIs, I'm just going to ask you, Vanitha, of how much the score is going to be, because one, you've been getting it right, and number two, that makes things easier.
Oh, I'm looking at somewhere around 160 to 160. Let's keep it to 160 today. I'm somewhere looking at 160.
160 says Vanitha, and let's pick up this in the mid-match show on the Outside View Live. Thanks for joining. Let's head away to the first ball of the game. See you after the first inning on the Outside View Live.